Hey, hello, and welcome back. I am Lori A. Andrus, and today we are going to sink into a conversation about selenite, the September crystal ally of the month. Now, for those of you who are new here, you're probably wondering, where do these crystals of the month come from? How are they chosen? And I want to just share with you that each year, as the year comes to a close, I sit down and do a forecast for the coming year. This is an event that I share each year with my community. So if you're a part of my email newsletter community or Facebook, social media, you're going to see it pop up there. And we do a call, we sit down, we sink into sacred space, we explore conversation around the coming themes for the year, the energies that we're looking at and working with. And then I pull from the Stone Speak Oracle, an oracle deck that I've created with crystals and stones, and draw forward a crystal ally for the year, and then a crystal ally for each of the coming months. So as we draw that forecast, we have space to just connect with which crystals and stones are going to show up and what are the ways that they're going to be supporting us throughout the year. And then in my membership community, the Sanctuary Circle, we dive even deeper into each of these crystals and stones every month. On the new moon and the full moon, we journey with the crystal and let it reveal personal messages and insights around what's unfolding in our personal world and how that is affecting us on a larger scale within the collective. It's such a beautiful way to work with the crystals and stones, and it's one of my favorite aspects of the work that I do. So, sharing this message today, we're just going to dive into a little bit of conversation around selenite, which is our ally for September. Now, selenite, oh gosh, I'm so excited that this is here. And last night we just had our ceremony full moon circle where we journeyed with selenite and connected with it. It actually took us to a selenite temple and brought us into a place of really activating our inner light and grounding it, connecting it here in the world. And I feel like that is one of the themes that is really emerging at this time on a collective level. We're at a place where so much is shifting and changing in the outer world, and the systems, the structures, the things that we have been deeply rooted into, the ways of living that have been just kind of commonplace, like this is just what you do, they're shifting, they're evolving. A lot of things are dismantling, they're being broken down, systems are dissolving. And as that happens, the ways that we've rooted into those systems, our roots, the foundation around them is shifting, and it's not carrying the same stability or gravity or support as it had in the past. And this is creating space for us to begin to recognize or get curious about where we are really rooting into for our lives. And I think one of the things that selenite brings awareness to and invites us to explore is the idea of rooting into ourselves, into our unique energy. And I say that, and also I have in the other thought coming through my mind is about how it's about really rooting into the earth, like letting ourselves root into the earth, anchoring in our energy, anchoring in our light, and standing in the very core of who we are, rather than relying on something outside of ourselves to take care of things, to fix, to hold, to solve, to resolve. It's about cultivating trust in our own knowing, trust in our own wisdom, trust in the depth of what we are here to share, the unique medicine we can bring and contribute at this time for humanity, and the ways that our light can serve. Selenite asks us to draw back the many, many layers of things that have been that we've taken on, layers of ideologies and belief systems, to peel them back and get into the very core of what is true for us. I think this is a really interesting energy, and I think it's really beautiful. And one of the things that selenite illuminates at such a potent level. Now, selenite is an incredible tower-like energy, and I'm just reaching here for a piece. I had another stone stacked on it, and I didn't want to make a big bang, so here we go. All right, so I just have a little selenite wand here, and we'll bring that in. There we go. I just love how reflective the light is on it, and selenite is often sold in this sort of a piece. Like they call it a wand. You can get it in all different sizes. I have some that are, about 18 inches long. These are, 8 to 10 inches, probably about 8 inches long. And there's, one of the things that I really love about working with them in this form is that they feel like a tower. They feel like a tower. And I feel like this is reflective of the ways that they represent our energy and the ways that we work with our energy and allow our energy to be shared in the world. They reflect that light energy, the light that we are, the light that we hold, the light that we carry. And they invite us to create a connection with our own light from the earth to spirit. So that beautiful channel of light that flows all the way through from the crown down to the root. So from spirit to the earth, and supporting us in really being grounded and anchored. Now, in the Stone Speak Oracle, the message from selenite is around activating our light on earth. Activate your light on earth. That is the message, the core message for selenite. And if you want to go deeper into that message, I'll link the video with the full Stone Speak message in the show notes. So check that out and just sink into the full message because it's really beautiful. And it'll take you on a little bit of a journey on how to do that within yourself, how to activate your light. One of the things selenite really wants to have in awareness for us is how important it is to be grounded, to be connected, to let our light land. When our light energy is grounded, it carries a greater gravity. And selenite's inviting us to begin to have awareness around all the places and spaces where our light energy has become scattered, and to draw it back, to call it back, to recognize the places where we've become entangled in other people's stories or dramas or experiences, where we are letting our thoughts spin out into the future or being held back in past events. It likes to support us in creating awareness around those places, calling the energy back, anchoring it in that center channel, and creating that column of light within that is so incredibly stable that it is unwavering. And from that place, we are able to illuminate. We are able to be the beacon of light that we are here to be. We are able to stand in the truth, the wisdom, the knowing, the gifts, the medicine that we hold, and confidently and courageously share that. The other piece that is really showing up around selenite and the energy of this month is around the energy of re-emergence. Yeah. If you listened to last week's episode, I spoke a little bit about, actually, I spoke a lot about the return of magic and the energy that has been kind of centered around that with regards to the shifts and changes in the world and the many things that we're feeling around that. And with that, I think a lot of individuals have been feeling a sense of separation from the magic of life. And I heard this in conversation with a lot of my deeply, deeply spiritual friends. Words that were kind of thrown out were words like numb, absent, distant, that the sense of magic that they had long felt was not in their they're feeling right now. Some people even spoke about it as feeling like almost like that kind of I should do what I've been telling people to do kind of thing. And like almost that like a little bit of an imposter kind of fraud sort of feeling. Can you relate? Yeah. I think this has been, I think this is somewhat part of the spiritual journey where we have these arcs of, deep, deep connection and then kind of a sense of separation as we move through different cycles of life. But I think there's something greater happening. I don't think it's exactly that's unfolding at such a massive level. I think part of it is a shift in that some of the things that were supportive and satisfying and helpful in the past are shifting, and it's time for us to kind of tap into new practices and find new points of connection and new ways of reconnecting. And I think another part is that the ways that the cultural foundations are being uprooted has created such an unstable energy that part of the way we're navigating through is by just disconnecting a bit and staying present within self. And staying present in a way that maybe feels a little numb, but yet keeps us even. And it's such an interesting energy. I'd be curious to hear what you're noticing and how this feels for you. If you have ways you'd like to describe that, I invite you to share that in the comments or and let me know. I'd love to hear what's been popping up. I feel like this has shown up in many different ways for me over the past couple of years. And like there's little waves and then there'll be little hints of the magic returning and then kind of some dullness again. And then magic pops in a little bit and kind of peppers in. But I think ultimately there's also an energy of just wanting to turn things over, to shake them up, to shift them, and to move in a little bit of a different direction. And I feel like right now Selenite is saying, hey, it's time to start re-emerging and begin to reconnect with that magic and let it like come and flow through you. Let the light go on and your awareness attuned to the places where the magic is showing up, where magic is revealing itself to you. And give yourself permission to turn things on their end and try something different. This may be a big shakeup. It may be a subtle shakeup. It may be as simple as rearranging a room or a part of your office or something like that. Or it may be that it's time for you to move or to shift your manner of working. Let yourself play with what will support you in not only shaking things up and reconnecting with magic, but re-emerging with your light amplified. I think Selenite's saying, slow down, shake things up, and let your light amplify. Re-emerge with your light amplified. Yeah. Such a powerful message. So many different ways that it's wanting to support us right now. And I think its presence is really, its timing is really on like at a perfect time. The other thing about working with selenite this month is that selenite was actually one of the 2 crystal allies for 2024, along with clear quartz. Those 2 came together last year and they just activated light for the entire year. And I feel like they initiated something. They initiated something in a process for all of us. And I think some of that may have felt a little dull or dormant or been kind of an undercurrent of like desire that we didn't quite have the gusto to bring forward. And I think selenite showing up right now and saying, okay, it's time to look at that again. What was rippling through last year, throughout the entire year that kind of just kept going on in the undercurrent of your life? that wants to have space, that wants to support you in allowing your light to shine brightly, to expand even further. Now, when we look at that, we often need to look at the ways that our gifts, our medicine, our unique way of being in the world wants to be expressed. How is your soul wanting to more wholly express itself? And when you look at that, when you let yourself have space to really listen and to really honor what's there, selenite is going to support you in letting that light, the light around those aspects of you, letting that light grow, letting it expand, letting it be sent out and shared into the world. All right, my friend. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I'll put a link in for that deeper message from selenite and for last week's episode where we talked about the return to magic. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is showing up for you? What ways are you feeling called to bring your light, your magic, your gifts into the world? All right, I wish you a beautiful day, and as always, shine brightly. Bye for now.